Okay, so we're recording. So, and very, very big welcome, everybody, to those of you who've put aside the time to be with us today. I know that there are so many 11/11 events going on around the world, many of which are actually focused on the same theme, which is just really beautiful. So there's obviously a synchronistic connection with the energy and essence that's needed at this time. So really beautiful. So thank you for the time that you've actually brought to the diamond special diamond event for today. As mentioned offline, this image, another beautiful image, is credit to a wonderful visionary artist called Pedestria Galactica. And she really does, she features the diamond and the diamond grid in so much of her artwork. And just a beautiful continuity from the golden frequencies that we worked with during our last gathering in October. So really excited about sharing this with you today. And sort of when this kind of landed, which was probably about 5-6 days ago, I kind of knew that we were going to be working with the facets of love. And I wanted to include that because working with the diamond and the 8 major facets of the sacred octahedron really brings us into closer relationship with the aspects that love actually represents as far as our core essence is concerned. So it's not about, I love this quote from Rumi, love is not an emotion, it is your very existence. So it's all of the aspects of love that don't define, but that flow through us as part of our inherent existence and connection to source, as human beings, that flow through us as human beings. So that's really what I want to focus on, and I'll actually bring those in as we go through the slides. But so this was a couple of days ago that this kind of landed, the whole facets of love theme. Um, what actually happened when I went to look into the detail was again another one of those beautiful synchronicities when I looked at the signature of today, because the essence and the message that's actually coming through the Mayan day signature is all about love, and it's about divine love, it's about spirit, it's about wisdom. So it's not the human love, it really is about connecting with the deeper energy and essence of who we are. So let's have a look at what today is actually represented by. So taking a look at the Solkian calendar, 11/11, it is day 8. And 8 is obviously the infinity, connects us with the whole diamond configuration of the 99th day. And it's the 99th day of the ninth wave, which is just really beautiful because the energy underlying that numerological symbology is actually that of completion and of restarting again. So when we actually look at the signature, which is 13 equal wind, whatever it's called, 13 is actually also a sacred number. And 13 marks the completion of a particular 13-day wave spell period. Um, in the Mayan Tolkien, in the original Mayan Tolkien. So it's a day of completion of a cycle and the emergence into a new cycle. So this morning when I was putting the slides together, oh, sorry, somebody's got the line open. So I'm just going to go in and make sure everyone's muted. Yeah, there's one or two new people who've come online. I'm just going to mute you. Okay, so just muting. Thanks, guys. So this morning when I actually looked at this, I thought it was just really beautiful to see today described as a day of ascension, which is moving to a whole new level of consciousness. And then again, this Jaguar spirit who's full of wisdom and a deep understanding of the patterning of the Mayan consciousness cycles describes this as a day when a wise way forward will present itself. holding the consciousness of love as a reason for life, and that all the love in the world balances out somewhere in the end. And by divine justice, we make the choice to ask what the Creator's dream would be. So it's what the Creator's dream being dreamed into reality through us. So it's like for us to ask what our expression of that dream is, as dictated to or as guided by the essence and energy of the pure love frequency that we are. So 13 Wind reminds us that life is in a divine creator's hands. All of our human trials are climbs to prove what we really love for our divine justice at the end. Today, we will leave behind what no longer serves for the dream of our heart's desire. So it's that dream that wishes to be brought into reality through us as an expression of the pure frequencies of love. The Cherokee day sign today is the whirlwind, which is viewed as a 13th dancer above that leads the 12 below. And there's some additional symbolism around that on one of the further slides that I'll show you in a moment. So wind represents a power of divine guidance from above, and today the wind can guide us toward our new life. So we have two elements here. We have the breath of the divine. We actually have the, as expressed in terms of wind, which really guides us forward into a new life that is governed by the expression of the love that we are at our core. So it was just such a beautiful synchronicity in terms of having focused on the purity of what love is a couple of days ago, to find out that the signature today is exactly what is facilitating that. Hilary says wind has certainly been present here today. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Hilary's up north in the UK. So just really beautiful. And then a little bit of extra detail here. The wind or ik resides in the north as the breath of life and the breath of spirit. It is a whirlwind of life and the medium for all of our thoughts. The element of air is humans' most critical resource for survival. And if we think about what's been happening in the external world, you know, all of that has kind of like been compromised by external sources, if you like, or is attempting to be compromised. So it really is bringing us back in touch with the truth of our connection to that element. The air represents our faculties of thought and the gift of wisdom that was shared through everything we know. Now, in some of the traditional symbology, just for those of you that don't know in respect of the sacred geometric forms, it is very often put forward as well that the octahedron itself represents the element of air. And as explained in our last Golden Diamonds meetup, the alignment of the octahedron around and through our physical form facilitates the expansion of the heart and our connection to love. So here we've got the balance between the mental and the pure essence of who we are, so that our mental capacity and the air quality or element is also guided and informed by the heart and informed by our heart. So it's just another beautiful synchronicity and a balance of qualities. So the T that's carved into stone in the glyph that represents today represents the tree of life and the axis mundi of a shared witness to our life. All the time we're wondering what we need to fix in ourselves. Our true self waits for us to remember that the meaning and purpose of life is to love. So this is a reconnection with true self. Wind holds the power and authority for divine intervention. A gust of wind can turn us around in an instant to love. The wind can change the whole landscape of our life. And that's really what's blowing at the moment. We talk about the winds of change. And that is happening globally. And I think that's where everybody has been tapping into this force and the amplification of this deeply into the collective. The wind, through one divine breath, wind can change our mind. The north is the direction of all wisdom. Wisdom is a gift of thinking about the truth we believe and all the ways we can apply it to an effort of divine genius. So really, this is also about awakening that within us. The elders always say to listen to the wind. When it captures your attention, stop. What were you thinking? Ask what it means. Wisdom is just remembering to ask questions and not simply accepting what is being presented, but asking questions based on the wisdom of your heart. It's not what you can do, but will you remember? Remember who you are. Today we are raised to the truth of answered prayers. So it's just a beautiful way of presenting this. And then she also goes ahead to say, from this is also from Jaguar Spirit, the galactic tone 13. So if you look at the glyph, just to, I'm not sure if this will work. If you look at the glyph, this here is the galactic tone. Each line represents 5 and each dot represents 1. So you got 5, 10, 15. That's how the glyph works. So that's the galactic tone. It's a tone of ascension. It assists us to go to the next higher step, propels us to try something new or to try again. It takes us over the next mountain just to see what is there. It carries the last success to the newest effort. I love that. It's part of the continuation of life, but represents a whole new beginning and an opportunity. It is a number associated with ascended masters, creation, expansion, and manifestation. So that's really where we're at. Wind, the breath of spirit, the breath of life, embodying the power of dissemination. So it's that capacity to allow the wind to actually remind us, to trigger the reminder of our true self, and then to be able to disseminate the true self essence and energy that is awakened through that. Planting of good seeds or ideas, dreamers dreaming the new world into being, planners with powerful imaginations. This describes an individual who is born under the auspices of this particular signature. So they generally make great orators as they spread the word of spirit and inspiration as if carried by the wind. It's the power behind the movement of natural cycles such as weather, erosion, and cultural change. Huge at the moment, massive, massive cultural change happening. Very changeable and adaptable. So today it's asking us to be adaptable and changeable, which can be perceived as fickle, and it can be destructive in a sense that it also can destroy that which is no longer working. So that's interesting. Clouds of trouble that may become hurricanes in the physical sense are sometimes associated with this too. But even a hurricane can actually, while it is incredibly destructive, clear the way for new building, for new ground, etc., etc. You know the symbolism. So here's the other one which I really liked, and you'll see behind this slide I've put a spiraling helix. The Cherokee symbol of the whirlwind is a double spiral helix, our DNA, rising in smoke and related to the direction of the north. In Cherokee, the constellations are represented by 12 birds or dancers, they're the bird tribes, whatever you want to call them. And the 13th bird is the whirlwind, the lead dancer, the one who leads the way forward. So that's really what's being asked of us today, is to allow the winds of change to move us forward with the right intention and with the right essence and energy. Master numbers, there's a whole lot that's written about today. The master numbers 1111 2020, so we've got 1111 and 22. We've got a whole basket of master numbers here. Master number 11, and especially the 1111, and we know that the 111 numbers actually define the diamond, is a tuning in to a higher channel of consciousness and the capacity to realize a life purpose. In essence, what it is, in line with the sacred octahedron or diamond, is the capacity to connect with the desires of our true self, and where that purpose wishes to direct us. When it's seen together, it's sometimes called a code of activation or a divine wake-up call. And we know that 2020 is marked as a year of clear discernment of the truth, clarity of vision. Um, so this is an invocation to all my relations. May we draw upon the sacred breath of the divine, the breath of spirit, to share a joyful noise with the universe. May we thank a divine creator for the winds of change that hold the authority over what will divinely be. We cannot stop the way that things are rolling out. We cannot stop the ninth wave. Our purpose is to actually align with that. May we honor the contribution of the whole for the collective store of the divine truth of love. So there's a lot of that held within the collective store. And it's just our ability to awaken that for and on behalf of ourselves and others who are just still awakening to remember. May we celebrate a new day. So it is a new dawn, it's the sun rising. Happy with the big and the small animals. This is from the Popol Vuh, which is the esoteric book that is associated with the ancient Mayan culture. So it's their mythology. Happy with the big and the small animals, and they stand by the swampy ground of the rivers, by the cliffs and at the top of the mountains. Everybody look there where the sun rises. So it is kind of welcoming in a new sun, welcoming in the golden frequencies, welcoming in um, a deeper fullness and embodiment of our true self and what that really means for ourselves and actually for the world. So really beautiful energies, and very, very intense. As we were saying offline, the intensity of the energy today has been quite remarkable. And this also in line with the mention of the sun and the fire element. I picked up a note today that there is a huge sunspot crackling on the face of the sun. And for those of you that are not familiar, the sun is actually in what is known as Maunder Minimum, which is an exceptionally quiet uh, phase of activity, of solar activity. So there have not been any major sunspots or any major solar flares for quite some time. And then just today, we actually have this crackling sunspot, which actually holds the potential for a solar flare and, if you like, a delivery of solar codes from the sun. So just perfectly aligned yet again and perfectly timed. Just really beautifully connected. So I was looking for a couple of quotes, and of course, a couple of my favorite authors and spiritual authors are the likes of Rumi and Khalil Gibran, because there is deep wisdom in a lot of their words around the essence of love. And this one from Khalil Gibran I really enjoyed, which is love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your soul. Now, here he talks with an analogy of water, but we could just as easily translate that into an understanding of the movement of the wind, the gentle flow between the shores of our soul, a flow and a flowing through the core of our being as a reminder of what that is, and to not become fixated on it in any way, for it always moves in allegiance with the desires and what is needed in the collective at any one time. So this is one of Rachel's beautiful light code images, which is just so perfect for today. I think this one goes back to 2018, if I'm not mistaken, Rachel. And as I was actually looking for images to bring in that were powerful and meaningful, I came across it again, and I thought it just is really perfect to remind us of the power within our sacred octahedral form for this particular divine gateway and this particular opportunity that we have. So really lovely. Thank you, Rachel. So this I picked up, which was also really interesting, from Sarah Varkas. It's not specifically the astrology of today, but it actually brings us to the astrology of the new moon on the 15th, which is in 4 days' time. But it's essentially what we're doing now is obviously we're leading up to the new moon through this particular gateway. And again, you know, when I saw this, I thought it's really important to share, because again, the focus and some of the key principles that she was bringing through here are a reminder, of love, sacred love, divine love. Again, so she says, the new moon on the 15th is a new moon in Scorpio. It lures us into the depths of our being. This is a time to reflect on our deepest desires, our most compelling emotions, greatest fears, and most passionate love. Nothing is out of bounds to this moon. So it's in essence what we are doing today is in preparation for this transition, through this period. It welcomes honesty and acceptance of everything and everyone. Strong enough to peer into the darkest night, a new moon in Scorpio allows us to be exactly who we are and to perceive the role of every facet of our being, um, the role that each facet plays in the totality of our psyche and spirit. In its darkness, we can rest assured, no matter our deepest shame or most obsessive fear, we are loved by all that is, by nature herself, because that is the essence of our true self, who embraces every aspect of our psyche in all its rawness and vulnerability. If you've been struggling with painful emotional or interpersonal challenges, this moon provides solace and comfort, even as it invites you to look deeper within to discover what's really going on. It invites all such wounds to make themselves known, for in its shadow they are safe to speak. And we are strong enough to hear their message. So we strengthen the love enough to be able to include all of those wounds, and hear the messages that reside within us that still wish to speak to us from those places, within our being. So, however much we may doubt our capacity to do so, we actually have the strength to hear and to heal. It's a moon of profound healing and renewal. So again, we've got this theme carried forward, which is just really beautiful. Born from the breaking apart of the hardened shell around our deepest pain. It's okay to cry and grieve, to rail and to rage, to despair and to declare yourself devoid of hope. We must go to these dark and intimidating places of pain to know them better, to understand their role in our life, to encounter their unwavering promise of new possibility, the other side of their cavernous gloom. For only when we let go of all that was can we finally embrace all that is and will be, with a spirit that is renewed by grace and wisdom. So what we really seek to do is, no matter what is happening out there in the external world, the truth of the essence of our being is actually, being reinforced, of our true self is being reinforced to carry us through this time and to awaken others to the absolute truth of what that represents, not the truth which is part of the illusion of a belief system, but the truth that resides deep within our core. So that's one of the words that I have actually incorporated as part of looking at the facets of love, that love in and of itself is truth. And it is absolute. So many of the New Age teachings tend to make it relative. So it's relative to what we perceive. But when we go beyond those perceptions, there is the absolute truth of true self. It's the absolute pure love frequency of who we are, is the truth of who we are. So there is an absolute truth of our nature and our natural way of being that is revealed. So it's letting go of all of the barriers and the belief systems, that have been installed over the many years. So just a couple more quotes that I thought were really beautiful. Love gives naught but itself and takes naught but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love itself is sufficient unto love. And that is the true essence of the divine love. So it asks nothing. and it takes nothing. It simply is sufficient in and of itself, and it's the truth of that that we begin to realize. So that's Khalil Gibran. And then Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And I thought that is really beautiful, because those barriers are what are dissolving at the moment, and that we want to dissolve further so that we can actually recognize and live with the impulse of what that love is at our core. So the 8 facets of love that I've actually chosen, and I know that there will be more. So it would be interesting. I'd love you guys to sort of contribute in respect of how you feel about these that I've actually selected as being those that we're going to work with today with the facets of the diamond. As you actually do the process again, you might want to bring in more. You might find that you've got facets within facets of all of the smaller diamonds that reveal more of the absolute truths and qualities of love to you. So just bear that in mind. But the 8 I've chosen to actually focus on are trust, because ultimately the only place where we are required to act from and to place our trust is in the frequency of love that is our natural way of being. So trust is a quality itself of love. When we trust in the source of our being, we know that we cannot fail. We won't be able to put a foot wrong. So it will take us in a direction that's exactly where we need to be. And I know you guys have heard me tell anecdotal stories about that and about surrendering to trust in so many different ways. So trust for me is one of the qualities of our being. Truth, and as mentioned, as from the way that I see it, feel it, perceive it, there is an absolute truth that goes beyond the illusion of all of the belief systems and perceptions. Transparency, because love does not hide anything. There's no deception. There are no lies. And essentially, when we are clearing this lens or this particular facet of love, we're also pumping that back into the collective. And we know what's happening now is that more and more and more and more is becoming transparent, because that wave or frequency of love is becoming more evident. Um, Sort of as we move along. Respect. So that is respect for ourselves, respect for our boundaries, respect for our individuality, respect for others' presentation of that without judgment. So it is respect for the role that every single expression of that universal love is playing in human form. Kindness, that goes without saying. Love is kind, and kindness is not always, because it depends on the motivation. So I think we need to dig within ourselves, and when there are acts of kindness, to examine where it's coming from. You know, are we trying to absolve ourselves of something? Is it coming from a purity of source and a purity of being? But love in its raw nature is nothing but kind. It can only be kind. And sometimes that can be misperceived, because other people may perceive unkindness in exposure of truth, because they're happy within their bubble and their belief systems that they've constructed around themselves, the walls that they've constructed. So that could be perceived differently depending on where the individual is coming from. But ultimately, at its core, love is kind. It is unification. So love is what unifies us within ourselves, because we drop all barriers to it. We unify all of the disparate aspects that have been locked away as a consequence of the patterning that we've taken on board. So it represents a unification of everything within. It is inclusivity. It includes all. Love can never be exclusive. It is naturally in and of itself inclusive, whether that's inclusive of everybody and everything external. It is all of nature. It is all of life. It is every expression of life that is included in that love as a facet, and it is compassion. And compassion is linked with empathy. It is the capacity to be able to place yourself in another's shoes, and to understand that their path, while it may be different to yours, is not wrong. It is the right path for them. And I see Marilyn's actually said here, dignity. Um, that's a very good one, because it is dignity. Would dignity be an element or an aspect of one of the other facets, do you think? Would dignity go along with respect? To carry oneself with dignity is to absolutely respect and honor one's own space, for instance. So I know it's really beautiful, and yet there could be some absolute definitions or understandings of dignity that actually bypass that. So I'll leave that with you. I love that. Thank you. Grace, beautiful. Grace is actually a beautiful one. There was a word that I actually put in there as well, which was surrender. To me, grace is an elemental aspect of surrender. Perhaps grace could also be kind of a subset or an understanding of trust. Because when we are in a place of trust in our absolute core, we are almost gifted with a graceful flow to our lives, to a synchronicity. So beautiful. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share there, or any understandings? Neutrality, balance, absolutely. A neutrality. There's almost, to me, when there is total transparency, it almost feels for me as if there's neutrality in transparency, because there is nothing hidden. So it can't be polarized. So when there is total transparency, there is only love. And in that love is an inherent neutrality. Beautiful. Love it. I love the thought processes and the connections with this that are actually being made. So you guys may wish to use any of these concepts or any of these words as we actually go through the facets and do the clearing. Anything else that you guys would like to, that you feel you'd like to share in respect of this particular focus? Excuse me, I'll have a cup of tea while I ask you the question. So I've chosen 8, as you can see, 8 facets to represent the 8 facets of the diamond. Self with a capital S. Yes, true self. Love is true self. Love is self. Love is. Ultimately, thank you for all of that, everybody. That's really lovely. So that's it. I'm not going to waffle anymore unless you guys have anything that you would actually like to share with us. So the light code that I've actually chosen, or that I had chosen to work with today, is the peace code. Because when we are able to access and to be in that space of peace within, it actually gives us the sense of safety and calmness. And there's an element or aspect of cocooning that I experience with this particular light code, and you guys may see images in that. Again, this is the reworked version of the light code, so I don't know if you actually see anything of interest in that particular light code. But when we are in a space of peace, in a place of peace, it amplifies our ability to be able to connect with that core of our true self and the qualities, the ultimate quality of love that we are. So I want to work with this. So you'll see that the colors of the light code, going back to the original slide, this particular light code defines the little diamond within the golden diamond in the original image that I actually had on the first slide. So I just thought it was absolutely perfect to work with from many different angles today. So any comments or inputs in that regard? Anything that you are seeing or perceiving? It's very simple. Yes, yes, thank you, Elise. The phoenix rising in the diamond. Yeah, so and if we think about the ascension, the 13, the synchronicities of this particular cycle, we are really in a period or a time of the phoenix rising. So that really is very powerful. Looks like a stargate, looks like a sitting Buddha or a Kuan Yin. It's always fascinating to me with these light codes, especially when we work with them in workshops too, is just how we connect with the essence or energies within them. Stargate, and today is, if you like, a gateway or an opening, a stargate into the greater aspects or understanding of our divine self. Sitting Buddha or Kuan Yin, and of course we know that Kuan Yin, it's lovely that you're seeing that, Rosemary, because Kuan Yin is the goddess of compassion and aspect of love. And of course, the Buddha is perceived as a figure that's synonymous with peace and love. So, so beautiful. Rachel says it really draws me into the center. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I can actually feel it even as that's on the screen. I can actually feel it drawing me into the heart. And just it's cushioning and enfolding and cocooning and providing a safe place to be. Thank you for those insights. That's really wonderful. So there we go. Not too much um, uh, mental stuff today. Oh, Maitreya is also linked with the energy of gold. Um, the essence, the frequency of peace and love. So we will incorporate the golden essence as well. Thank you, Rosemary. Yeah. I know working with the oils and with others that Maitreya operates, if you like, or is manifest through the golden frequency. So it's us accessing that within ourselves that is represented by that. So really beautiful connection. So I hope you're starting to feel just peaceful and centered and ready to go into the process. So let me just wet my whistle once more. If there's anything else you guys would like to share, make yourselves comfortable in the meantime. If you are all ready, then I'd like you to close your eyes. Make sure you're comfortable. Oh, sorry, just hold on for a moment because there's an open line there somewhere. Oh, it's closed off again. Okay. All right, so begin by taking, as always, a beautiful, deep, slow breath in. Connecting as you do with the essence of wind and the breath of the one divine spirit that breathes through you, that breathes your individual expression of purpose and of being into and through you. Deep breath in and out. And just for a moment, begin cycling your breath so that you breathe in the ultimate love, the neutral, higher essence and expression of the love absorbs into your being, all the way down to your toes. And as you breathe out, you let go of all the barriers that stand in the way, represented by the patterning of generations, the patterning that your body still holds on to. Breathe in the love of Source on the breath of the divine. On the sacred wind, breathe out. Allow yourselves to surrender into the core of your being. Drop the boundaries and barriers. As we always do, create your diamond and align it such that you are centered within the sacred space. At the octahedron, aligned with the base of your spine at the very center. And continue breathing until it appears that your diamond breathes with you. And as your body finds a natural rhythm and flow, it's almost as if experience yourself as being breathed into being by the one breath, the divine breath of the one true source. Just connect with it as your mind quietens, your body relaxes, and everything comes to a gentle, beautiful rest. And that divine breath now, that gentle wind, you become aware of it flowing through your diamond. It may take on a gentle hue or color, but flowing on that breath is the light code that we know, may recognize as peace. It infuses and informs your diamond field, enveloping you in its gentle, loving energy. Surrounding you with the essence of peace, filling up your diamond till all that you know is an all-pervading sense and feeling of safety, quiet, calm, love. It seeps into and through your skin into the cells of your body, calming down all of the hectic cellular activity. And the gentle lilac colors ebb and flow with the gentle wind, with the breath of spirit flowing through you. Buffering up against any patterns that are held within your body. Patterns that act as barriers to your experience of the totality of your true self, the sheer expansiveness of the love that you are. And those barriers gently begin to dissolve, carried away on the flow of the divine breath. Just be and bear witness to the activity, this gentle flow and letting go, the deepening of your connection, the deepening of your sense of peace. And now the breath of spirit, that gentle wind that blows, begins to move your diamond so that it starts to rotate. And as it does, you can see through each of the facets into a different view or perspective of the world. Just observe. And then your diamond rotates head over heels so that you can see more clearly through the other facets. Some of the facets may appear to be clearer than others. But in the gentle spinning now, that breath of the one true source focuses its energy onto a single facet that comes into vision in front of you. And your diamond comes to a stop just for this time as the focus of that breath is on the quality of love represented by truth. And the word itself actually is imprinted into your being through the facet of your diamond, blown through, focused by the breath of the divine, reminding you of the absolute truth of the love that you are, so that you feel it deep within the core of your being, beyond the illusions, beyond your beliefs, for the barriers are breaking down. You come to know, to feel the truth. And that truth flows through into one of your core diamonds, your core column, and it ignites it with a fiery spark that initiates a golden flame, a moving golden light, the core of your being. And that core diamond itself begins to spin with all of the additional associated qualities, aspects of the frequency of truth, sending the golden threads out into your body, your cells, your DNA, bringing them to life with that truth. And now your greater diamond rotates slightly so that the next facet comes into view. And through this facet, you observe the world through a lens of trust. And you may be observing distortions in the world because of a lack of trust. But very gently, the breath and the wind focuses the purity and the quality of love that is the trust in your own true self and being, imprinting this into your body, flowing in on the breath, igniting yet another core diamond with a golden flame. Allowing that golden glow to emanate back through your body, back out through the facet into the world. So that you may walk through the world knowing that you are safe, that you are protected by the flame and the light and the truth of your core essence, that you are protected and safe and enveloped by love. For love does no harm, and in that you experience a strengthening of your core and a strengthening of trust. And you imprint this upon the world, into the collective, without expectation. You just send it back out through the facet of your diamond, making that available so that the golden frequencies help to transmute others' fears and connect them with the source of trust in their internal authority. Just watch. Watch the interplay as your being is purified, and this is in turn shared. And your diamond rotates once more, bringing into view or in front of you another facet. And the wind of spirit gently focuses its energy into the quality of transparency as an expression of love, as a quality of love. For when all is transparent, all deception is exposed, lies become known. You walk in safety because the core of your being and the love that you are can discern and see right through anything that attempts to manipulate you. So the lens of your diamond is cleared. That you may see out there in the world the clouds of darkness and pockets of deceit. they're steadily rising. The lies are being exposed. The deceits and manipulations become clearer because of the transparency of the truth and the love of all the beings, the human beings who have worked so hard to bring their true self and presence to this place and time in the cycles, the great cycles of this planet. And the transparency, the quality of transparency cuts through any ways in which we may still be lying towards ourselves or about ourselves, dissolving those particular barriers, flowing through to the golden core, igniting yet another core diamond. The golden flame becomes stronger in the center of your being, rippling through your body, igniting your DNA, shifting and changing your very biology to bring it into alignment with the wave of love. For love is the essence and the expression of the new human in its totality. And once again, you allow that golden energy to flow out through this facet into the world, transmuting, alchemizing any of the darkness. Just be aware of where your golden essence of love is directed. And without judgment, allow it to flow where it needs to go. And we rotate now the diamond to the fourth facet. And the wind of spirit concentrates the quality of respect. Respect for self, respect for the truth that you are, respect for others, for the truth that they may choose to serve until such time as their awakening is facilitated or deepened. Respect for your boundaries, healthy, sovereign boundaries that enable you to speak when it is necessary, to act as appropriate. There's a difference between your sovereign boundaries and the barriers of redundant patterns of fear. So you look out at the world and you can see where there may be division and lack of respect for another's choice or choices. And in this moment, your choice is to respect the only true source that was designed to inform life, the source of love that guides your voice and guides your actions, that guides your discernment. And you breathe that in, concentrated through the facet of your diamond from divine source directly on the movement of that sacred wind. And it ignites yet another diamond within your core with the eternal gold flame and nature of your being. Emanating it back out again from this sacred space that is you. That respect is an honoring of the role that each and every individual plays and contributes to the web of life. And as it ripples back out, you are aware of it moving through timelines, through all of the lives that were sacrificed with powerful positive intention, but unknowing of the games that were being played to mask their own connection with Source. So it ripples through the fields of war, it ripples through the timelines into all of your ancestral lineages. It ripples through the animal kingdoms for all of the animals that have been sacrificed as a consequence of the lack of honoring and respect for human life, for all of life, and for nature. It ripples through the trees and the rivers, decimated by a lack of this quality of love. And it reawakens the reminder that love is all that there is for the entire collective and through the memory banks. Triggering others who are connected through the ancestral lines, who may be ready to begin understanding the deeper respect for self that is based on the core of love. And now your inner being is glowing with the activation of the 4 core diamonds and the golden light of the phoenix fire arising within you. And your diamond rotates head over tail until the other clear facets are within or at eye level. And again you rotate. The first clear facet is a lens through which you experience the world and the qualities of kindness. So as you look out, you may perceive all that is not kindness acting out in the world. And the breath of the sacred wind concentrates that quality of love and gently blows and focuses it through the facet of your diamond like a prism into your being, enhancing that which already exists within you. Kindness towards self, towards others, towards life. The many ways in which this is demonstrated or shared. And yet another core diamond lights up with your golden flame of true self, the golden flame of ultimate love. Shining out, it breaks down yet more barriers and patterning. And as it flows out into the world, it ignites within others a desire for kind action, words, thoughts, in a powerful wave. And you witness changes in behavior as it gently touches and nudges life into a different and new, upgraded expression. For kindness does no harm. And your diamond rotates once more, and through the lens you can witness the world through the quality of unification. And you see the polarization and the lack of unification, or the lack of awareness, for you see the interconnectedness of people, but the bonds that connect them in the unified field are really darkened out through lack of awareness of how they are interconnected with the all. You feel and you may experience the despair and the sadness of isolation, which is not really isolation, it is just lack of awareness. And the sacred breath of the divine focuses the qualities of unification into your being through this lens, enabling you to be an agent of reunifying humanity. And as that quality ignites the sixth core diamond with a golden flame, it emanates into your being and begins its job of unifying aspects of yourself and patterns that may have been isolated or cut off from the core, from the totality of who you are, mistakenly, unknowingly. For it is always unknowing, for when we know ourselves, there is nothing else other than a unified whole. And in the golden flame that reunites all aspects of your being, you emanate this out through the facet out into the world as a reminder. And you begin to light up the connections between people, between family members, between strangers. You light up the unified field that is the field of love. For each individual that we meet is but a mirror or reflection of our own internal emanation. And it reminds others of that principle. See the field light up with the golden love of your essence as you remind the world and reinform life. And your diamond rotates once more. The next facet enables you to view the world through a lens of inclusivity. So there is not just a reunification of people and of life, but there is an inclusivity in all decision making that honors and respects the connections that exist in the unified field, where there is a focused attempt and a focused energy on bringing a cohesiveness to decision making that recognizes and acknowledges the varied, disparate contributions and the gifts of all. And the one breath of this new cycle of the wind focuses this quality and aspect into your diamond, igniting the seventh core diamond within your being. The golden glow, that golden core of you is almost complete. The golden core of love in all of its manifestations that emanates back out, infused with all of the other qualities already absorbed, infused with the truth and trust, with the transparency, with the respect and honoring, with the kindness, with the unification, the inclusivity as opposed to separation of all. It's almost like a lighthouse with that light, that golden beam shining backwards and forwards around the collective, through into the unified fields and planet. For we in our journey are awakening the earth and all of nature. We are fueling the evolution of all. And finally, your diamond rotates so that the final facet comes into view. Your entire being softens as you witness the world through the lens of compassion. You may be witnessing a lack or a dearth of compassion as you look out at the world now. Do not let appearances fool you, for that is just a projection of the illusion. Look beyond. Seek beyond. For as the winds of change focus that next breath, it completes your golden core and infuses and informs all with the loving quality of compassion, however that is presented to you and experienced by you. The eighth core diamond now completes the circuit, and you stand tall with a golden flame emanating through the core of your being from the Earth Star to the Soul Star, flows down into the earth and out into your Soul Star, and then through your body, and now through all lenses of your diamond, so that you now stand as a golden infused sacred form. And your diamond now continues rotating with its purified lenses, beaming the golden light in all directions, 360 degrees, through the purified facets of your love and being. And you watch And notice how that light begins to break down yet more of the facade of those who are working really hard to maintain a false shop front. It wipes it away and transmutes it, alchemizing. For gold is an alchemical metal. It is the ultimate expression of the conversion from base to the highest form of spirit and love. And as your diamond rotates and that golden light emanates out, you become aware of the other qualities of love that you resonate with, informing the golden beams that are shining out. The qualities of neutrality, of dignity, of whatever else you resonate with. Allow it to now be expressed from the core of your being out through those golden beams. And you rest safely and knowingly, complete within the essence, the true essence of your core identity, beyond the name, beyond the body, beyond the definitions. You resonate with the golden flame of pure source love, anchored to this connection, expanded and amplified through the cells in your body that resonate with that knowingness and with love. Hold and breathe. Hold and be breathed. You are shining one. You join together with many, many more shining ones emerging across the planet on this special portal day. And just for a moment, your consciousness is drawn to a place way above the surface of the planet. And from this vantage point, you look down, and what you can see is golden pillars of light across all continents, across all countries. Pillars of light, shining, holding their space for the new earth to be dreamed and manifest into being through this cycle. Hold your course, hold your nerve, hold your courage, for all is embraced and strengthened by your love. You can see clearly that you are not alone. You are one of many, each a beautiful golden reflection of you. Take a deep breath in as your inner being smiles and rests safe in that golden core. And hold that inner smile over your heart as you breathe deeply and prepare to return to waking consciousness. There is nothing else that you need to do, for you are love. And once more, deep breath in. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and return gently, slowly. And when you are ready, welcome back. How are you all doing? That feels for me as if there's been a bit of a release of that tension, almost like an alchemical conversion of what it was representing, and an ease back into the flow. That's my experience. I was very aware of the tension earlier today. You are shining. Oh, that's beautiful. Paula says, I have no idea where I went, but it was the most peaceful I have been for a long time. Now that's beautiful, and I would suggest that you take the process and just work with it again. It'll bring you back. Rosemary, that was truly inspired, Julie. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you, Rosemary. It's so lovely. Peaceful. Yeah, that's how I feel. Just at peace. Rachel says, lots of heat. Thank you. Lots of heat as usual. Felt my body jerk a few times as if I was being realigned. Oh, saw my diamond spinning really quickly as it detached all the attachments holding me down. Beautiful. Felt powerful and stable. Yeah. So a couple of you, it seems, actually experienced the heat, probably the heat from that alchemical conversion, the phoenix, the golden essence that was alchemizing that through the process. Um, really beautiful. Thank you. So, okay, it's just feeling as if it's the right thing to perhaps leave you in that beautiful, peaceful space at the moment. Bunny says, although a bit distracted, soaking wet. Oh, bless you. Clearing for porch, but just in time to take off my wet clothes and listen. Oh, no, it's raining a lot in Florida, sort of hurricane stuff. Lots of heat. Look forward to listen again later. Yeah, I'm sure it'll actually settle everything down. Bun, I feel I'll sleep well tonight. Yeah, I think so too. Everything feels very, very calm and settled. The wind really picked up here and I could hear the wind chimes. I don't know if you guys could hear the fireworks from this side because there was a bit of banging going on and off during the process. I mean, I just went into it and it just got to a point. I heard them in the beginning. I was just vaguely aware of them at later stages of the process, but it didn't feel intrusive. But I've got headphones on, so I don't know how it felt with the microphone for the rest of you. Marilyn felt the jerking also was gentle, feels so peaceful. I love it because that jerking is often that just being moved into alignment. And don't forget that we are changing. Our biology is actually changing all the time through this transition period. So it's a really, really big thing that we are going through and experiencing as part of this evolution. The gold energy and the core energy that is you at your core is directing those changes. So the stronger that energy is, sometimes the more intensely that is experienced within. So you may be needing a lot more sleep over this time, as well as your body is literally physically adjusting, and things are waking up. So thank you, Hillary. So peaceful and loving, and that's what I'd love to leave you with, because that is who you are. So I just want to say, God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. It felt right for this to be a community process as opposed to an open process, because there was so much else going on. I may actually do another open process this month. I don't know. I'll see if it lands, and what lands. But just beautiful, beautiful. Michelle says, I saw a lot of pink energy and cold sensations. Still feel a bit constricted, especially in my upper body. Thank you. Yvonne says, thank you, love to all. What I would suggest, that's also something else, is do the process again, because the more you do it, the more that constriction will release. Because especially if it's upper body, it's all connected with the heart. So let the boundaries down, and let the fear go. There is very, very often a fear of being vulnerable when we do that. So that's where the trust comes in knowing that if we do, we will be safe, because it's like we're held in the arms of just love. That's interesting, and felt as if my heart could have seized up today. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think what your body was feeling was probably, you were feeling the intensity of the energies through the heart center today, because that's what the energies are geared towards, is the opening up and releasing of those boundaries. For others, I felt the pressure in my head today, which was really interesting. So it was just releasing of all of the mental constructs, and patterning around that. So Geraldine says, deep connection and at peace. Thank you, Julie, and my fellow diamonds. Love to everyone. Yes, you are you are loved in so many ways, and I am grateful, um, always, for your presence, your beingness, and your love. So thank you. Feels as though nothing is going on outside of me. Yeah, I'm observing the energy moving in form. That is it. That is it, is to become more and more aware of that which is you, and the emanation, the stillness and the peace, so that we can emanate that from within, because that's what changes the world. So, as always, love you. Huge thanks for being here. If there's anything else you guys would like to share, please feel free to drop me an email. It's always wonderful to hear from you. And once again, just God bless and thank you for being here. Thank you for always being here. I'm going to